Si-eun is one of the best students in his school. He has no hobbies and all he likes to do is study. Even during recess, he puts on his headphones and does nothing but study. One day his teacher gives him an award because he won first place in the school math contest. Yongbin receives the award along with him. During recess, it is revealed that he is a bully. He and his group bully another guy in the class. They tell him that he won't amount to anything in life and send him to fetch them drinks. Yongbin then throws a shoe at Si-eun, who advises him to be more careful. Yongbin replies that it was an accident, and Si-eun once again asks him to be more careful to prevent more accidents. Even though Si-eun is a loner, he won't tolerate bullying. Yongbin looks him straight in the eye, but Si-eun is ready for a fight. Their communication is interrupted when a mob of baseball players bursts into the classroom looking for a guy named Soo-ho. Soo-ho has been woken up by his comrades, and the baseball players attack him because he was flirting with their captain's girlfriend. This guy must be a real fighter and gives them a lesson, despite being much outnumbered. As the baseball players scatter, Soo-ho notices that he drops objects on the floor. He picks them up and apologizes for the inconvenience. The next day, Si-eun can't find his sports uniform and looks at Yongbin, knowing that he's the one who stole it from his backpack. Later at the field, Si-eun is the last one to reach the finish line, and the bullies start laughing at him. Soo-ho intervenes by throwing a shoe at the bully and asking him to give him his shoe back. The bullies hesitate to mess with him because he might beat them all up. Si-eun decides to confront the bullies in the locker room and asks them for a favor to stop messing with him. The bullies corner him and grab him by the throat, but are forced to stop when the teacher enters. Yongbin says they're friends. That same night, Soo-ho knocks on Si-eun's door because he mixed up the addresses where he was supposed to deliver pizza. Seizing the opportunity, he asks his classmate for water and drinks the whole bottle. The next morning, a new student, Bom-seok, shows up in class. Yongbin tries to approach him, but Si-eun intervenes and a conflict ensues. However, Soo-ho wakes up from his nap and tells them to stop it because they're making too much noise. Later, the hooligans go to the club and receive a package of drugs from the dealer. Yongbin seems to know this guy for more than a day. In fact, they're cousins. Yongbin is trying to figure out how to hurt Si-eun, so he asks his cousin what will happen if the drug gets on his skin. The dealer tells him that the man will get dizzy and possibly vomit. Si-eun is walking down the street and is stopped by some guys who give him some drugs. As it turns out, they're just giving them to the wrong person. Anyway, things heat up and Si-eun is about to attack the dealers. Si-eun's way and lets him get away. Afterward, he tells his guys to be careful who they mess with because this guy was ready to attack them. The next day at school, Yongbin approaches a new student and tells him that he talked to his abusers from the previous school. He knows that he changed schools because they made his life hell. However, he will keep his secret if he helps him. During a test, Bom-seok slaps Si-eun on the neck to inject him with medicine. Soon, Si-eun starts to feel dizzy and runs to the bathroom to throw up. When he returns to the classroom, he finds the medicine and removes it. He starts spanking himself to get back to normal. Later, when the teacher gives them the correct answers, Si-eun notices that his work was very poor, which makes him furious. He gets up from his chair and takes his pen with him. He viciously attacks Yongbin. With his pen, he also injures Yongbin's friend. There is no one in the class who dares to stop Si-eun. He wraps a curtain around Yongbin's head and hits him with a book. When he's done, Yongbin's nose is broken. Si-eun wants to continue, but Soo-ho stops him, saying he's done enough. Si-eun attacks Soo-ho. Soo-ho throws him a small punch to push him away, but Si-eun gets even angrier. Their quarrel is eventually interrupted when a teacher enters the classroom. Yongbin ends up in the hospital, and one of the teachers takes Si-eun away. There, Yongbin's mother wants to talk to Si-eun's mother, but the boy says he has no mother. Si-eun tells the woman that her son bullied him and he just got what he deserved. He then shows her the drug and shakes Yongbin's backpack onto the hospital bed, revealing a full package of drugs. With this new evidence, Yongbin's mom won't take any legal action against Si-eun. However, more trouble awaits him in class. Yongbin's friends approach Si-eun and say they want to fight him after class. Si-eun wants to do it right now and takes them to the restroom. He locks himself inside and turns to face the two bullies. He pulls out a pen and starts clicking it. Si-eun knows that the two bullies have associated the clicking sound of the pen with the pain he caused them yesterday, and uses this psychological trick to intimidate them. The trick works perfectly, and Si-eun returns to class. At the hospital, Seok-dae visits his younger cousin, and Yongbin tells him that he wants to pay him to beat up Si-eun. At the same time, Si-eun accidentally meets Soo-ho, who tells him that they should grab a bite to eat together sometime. The next morning, Si-eun arrives at school first, but finds Soo-ho asleep in class. Later in the cafeteria, the guys eat together, and Soo-ho tells him that he likes to come here to sleep right after work. He knows that if he goes home, he won't be able to wake up in the morning and will miss class. Sok-dae forces a young guy to co-sign a loan from his boss because he lost money gambling online. Sok-dae also meets his cousin, who tells him that today is the day to act. Sok-dae and his group wait for Si-eun to finish school and meet him right outside. Sok-dae tells the young man that it's nothing personal. It's just business for him. After slapping Si-eun in the face, he leads him away behind him. Byok-sok witnesses the incident. He runs back to the classroom and wakes Soo-ho up, saying that he needs to help Si-eun. Soo-ho says it's not his responsibility, and besides, he has to go to work. However, Byok-sok tells him that he'll pay him double his daily wage if he helps him. Soo-ho likes the offer, and they hit the road. Sok-dae, Young-bin, and the others take Si-eun to a secluded place. Young-bin lectures Si-eun on how he shouldn't have messed with him. But while he's talking, Si-eun tries to use his brain to gain an advantage in the upcoming battle. He assumes that the two guys to his left will be involved in the fight along with Young-bin, but he can use his surroundings to deal with them. Si-eun snaps out of his seat and tries to attack Sok-dae with his pen, but the big guy grabs his wrist. However, it was only a distraction set up by Si-eun. He uses his other hand to punch Sok-dae, and then throws the dirt from the flour right into the eyes of the others. Only two bullies stand in his way, but they too decide to step aside after seeing what Si-eun can do. However, Sok-dae stands up again, grabs Si-eun and throws him. Young-bin and his friends get the chance they've been waiting for and start beating up Si-eun. At this time, Soo-ho appears and beats up the bullies again. Soo-ho helps Si-eun up, but the fight isn't over yet. Soo-ho is attacked by Sok-dae, and the two of them get into a fierce fist fight while Young-bin and the rest of the bullies attack Si-eun. This time, they manage to bring him to the ground, and they're about to land some hard blows on him. But then Byok-sok appears out of nowhere and lunges at Young-bin, giving his friends the upper hand. The good guys have clearly won the battle, so Soo-ho tells Sok-dae to stop it. Sok-dae agrees to this and leaves. Young-bin is disappointed by this turn of events. He expected the situation to turn in his favor, but there's not much he can do anyway, so Soo-ho tells his classmates to follow him, suggesting they go get something to eat. The two young boys agree, but they have no idea what they signed up for. Soo-ho leads them to the store where he works and makes them do some work. He claims that he was late for work because of them, and now they have to help him do some of the work. However, when the work is done, the guys sit down to eat a snack. For the first time in his life, Si-eun feels like he's being befriended. It's been a busy day, so Si-eun can't stay up all night and study like he usually does. At this time, Sok-dae confronts his boss, who starts beating him up for being beaten up by the kids. He goes so far as to break his arm. Young-bin visits his cousin in the hospital, where the boss tells him that what happened to Si-eun is his fault. At the same time, Si-eun goes into a store to buy an umbrella. Inside the store, he sees a girl belonging to Sok-dae's group stealing a lipstick, but decides to ignore it. However, the girl finds him at the cash register and pretends to be his girlfriend to hide from the store clerk. She also follows him outside because she doesn't have an umbrella and makes him follow her to dinner because she doesn't like to eat alone. The next day in class, Young-bin approaches Si-eun. He claims that drugs got him in trouble with the law. After asking Si-eun and Soo-ho to witness that there were no drugs, he falls to his knees and begs them for help because he doesn't want to end up in jail. Soo-ho says he's a bad actor, but Si-eun and Byok-sok decide to help him. Despite their generosity, Young-bin leads them into a trap. The boss and his men are already waiting for them. Soon he accuses the guys of allegedly breaking Sok-dae's arm when they fought against him, so he asks them for money if they want to stay alive. He gives them 3 days and says he can lend them money if they don't have the money to pay him back over the next few days. The buddies are being chased everywhere. Si-eun arranges a meeting with Young Yi and secretly leaves the house. Si-eun needs her help to get out of the situation, but still asks her if the head of the gang will leave them alone if they pay him. She replies that there is no such possibility. Si-eun then states that they must lure the boss into a trap. She reveals that the boss and one of his partners run an online gambling site, which is a scam. It lures people in by offering them a sign-up bonus and letting them win on their first bets. But then the site takes all their money and drives them into debt. Young Yi is able to help Si-eun by photographing the records and contracts that the ringleader offers his victims. The next day at school, the boys meet in class and start talking. They know that today will be the day the bandit comes to ask them for money. Byok-sok has sold an expensive watch given to him by his father, and he has the money to pay. The other two think they shouldn't pay him, but call the police and trap the boss. However, they know that pictures will not be enough. They think their best chance is to lead the police to the location of the bandits. Once outside, the boys notice that they are waiting right outside the school. Soo-ho tells the other to go back and be ready to call the police, and he tries to convince the ringleader to take him to the hideout. Soo-ho approaches him and pretends he doesn't have any money. However, he has a business proposition that will allow him to make even more money. Soo-ho was an influential figure in the school, so he will be able to convince the students to play at his casino. Soo-ho asks him if he has an office where they can talk, and the headmaster tells him to get in his car. As they drive away, Young Yi tells Si-eun what they did was a bad idea. Soo-ho shouldn't have gotten in the car. Worried for her friend, Si-eun asks if she knows where they can take Soo-ho. Luckily, Young Yi suspects the place and gives Si-eun the address. At the same time, Byok-sok is afraid for Soo-ho, so he takes a cab to follow the bad guys and pay them. Meanwhile, Young Yi tells Sok-dae that they should help the students, that their lives aren't righteous and they shouldn't be monsters like the headman. Soo-ho activates the recorder on his smartwatch, but the boss isn't so naive. As soon as they arrive at the location, he demands to see the phone. Soo-ho is unwilling to show it, so Bandit beats him up for doing so. Meanwhile, Byok-sok asks at their door to hand them money, asking for Soo-ho's release. The ringleader not only takes the money, but also forces Byok-sok into one of the cars. His men empty the place and they drive away. A few minutes later, Si-eun arrives there with the police, but it's too late. Plus, the cops say they don't have a search warrant, so they can't just go inside. When the police leave, Si-eun climbs over the fence and enters the house. He realizes that everyone is gone. Seeing the bloodstains on the floor, he becomes very worried. Unfortunately, the safe is also emptied, so he can't find any evidence. The boss calls Sok-dae and asks him to meet him at the place he's headed to. Sok-dae agrees, but asks Young Yi and the others to stay put, saying he'll go alone. He gives Young Yi his debit card and leaves. Young Yi immediately calls Si-eun and asks him to download an app that can synchronize their location and show on a map. She then follows Sok-dae and clarifies that she won't leave him alone. When Sok-dae appears before the bandit, the boss rolls him on the ground and begins beating him with a metal pipe, as he considers Sok-dae incompetent. After beating him up pretty badly, he takes one of the young boys who owes him money and tells him that he'll take the blame for stabbing Byok, Sok, and Soo-ho. The young man trembles with fear and has no choice but to obey. As the headmaster is about to stab the two schoolboys, Sok-dae stands up and grabs him from behind, throwing him aside. With this move, it becomes clear that Sok-dae has had a change of heart. He is no longer one of the bandits' men. The two of them engage in a strong fight that looks like, but the boss wins, pinning Sok-dae to the ground. Young Yi won't let him hurt the students, however, so she strikes him with a vase on the back of the head. She then snatches the knife from him and threatens boss. He is not afraid of her and manages to snatch the knife. As he is about to attack Young Yi, Si-eun appears and holds him back. The bad guys run away as they think the police are coming to see them, but they return when they realize that the sirens they heard were just the sound coming from the phone Si-eun had set up. Soo-ho finds this very amusing, since Si-eun even tricked his friends with his help. Now both sides have to fight each other. While chaos reigns, Yi picks up Sok-dae and they decide to run away since everyone is busy. However, they run into the real police and run the other way. Meanwhile, Soo-ho and Si-eun fight, but they're outnumbered. Si-eun isn't as skilled at fighting as Soo-ho, so he gets beaten up. Despite this, the police eventually find them and the fight stops. The boss isn't going to give up so easily. He pushes one of his men at the policeman and runs away. Si-eun shows determination and runs after him. The crime boss doesn't manage to escape. Si-eun stops him at the docks, but Bandit proves to be quite experienced and beats him up. Soo-ho joins the fight, but the boss still manages to take the guy down. Eventually, the students join in, and Soo-ho finishes him off with a leg kick. At the same time, Sok-dae locks Young Yi and the other guy behind a metal door, telling them to run away. Sok-dae is forced to do the right thing and surrender. Later, everyone is taken to the police station. A bodyguard belonging to Byok, Sok's father's man, enters the room and tells Si-eun that he's free to go. The only thing he asks of him is to keep everything a secret. The security guard then takes Byok-sok to a room with Bandit. He tells the young man that his father wants him to hit Bandit hard. Byok-sok can't do it because he has no strength in him. The boss tries to attack, but the security guard puts him in his place. Byok-sok ends up just walking outside. Soo-ho has been taken to the hospital, and Si-eun pays him a visit. The purpose of the visit is not only to check on him, but also to introduce Soo-ho to his new friend Young Yi. Later, Si-eun sets out food for both friends, which makes them speechless. Si-eun smiles slightly, showing that he's finally found people he can socialize with.